Don't worry, I'm doing it. Thank you. Welcome here. We're live, and I'm here again with another team member at the Family Hub. I'll tell you people what Arisa did this morning before we start. Okay, so Arisa is going to share with us his journey into the sex conversation. He has titled his own story "The Wrong First Mention." You guys know it's a thing, Abby. When first mention goes wrong. All right. Hello. If you're here, you can see me, you can hear me. Please put your comments right in the comment section. I can see our Instagram family buzzing. Just say I'm streaming from wherever. Just put your location in the comment section. Just location will be enough. All right. Just tell us where you are streaming live from. It is an amazing time again having a conversation with you on this. All right. It's been very, very interesting listening to the different aspects of this journey, how people got to know about, sex conversations and what has happened to them. And believe you me, as I'm going, I'm also sharing my own story, all right, of the things that really, really happened. Just tell us, where are you streaming live from? So you can just say Lagos, Abuja. We're streaming live from Abuja. We are right at the Family Hub. Family Hub is at Guarimpa, and Family Hub is home to the Intentional Parents Academy, run by my able self, and the Married Steel Academy, run by the Gov Kunle Ologe, who is my husband. So welcome here. It is all family stuff. So today we have Arinze. Arinze, do you want to introduce yourself? Since I'm the one calling your name, please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Arinze Okonkwo Arinze. Staff of family.
Funny enough, I never knew your surname was Okonkwo. Is how I'm getting to know on the live stream. Interesting. Okay, maybe I thought it was something else. But hey, that's it. Arinze. Just call him Ari. Ari of life. I'm sure that you guys are going to enjoy listening to Arinze. And I'm streaming from Meduguri, Comfort Baba. It is so good to see you here. One of the things that we want you to do for us is to tag that person who is supposed to be here and also share with us. All right. After Arinze shares the story, I'm also going to share a bit of what you should know and do when it comes to sex conversations. All right. So let's go there. Arinze, you've called it the wrong first mention. What does that even mean? What happened with that conversation? Over to you.
Okay, the wrong first mention. The first time I heard about sex. So my folks, my people at home, they are like strong Christians. The ones that they feel when they don't tell you about it, you don't know about it, and then you are safe. But being around here, I've seen that that's a very, very wrong notion. And then growing up, they didn't tell us anything about sex. They didn't teach us. They didn't equip us. And then we were good kids, so we did not even come in contact with it. I personally did not come in contact with it till I got to the university. So
What happened in your secondary school?
my secondary school,
Hmm.
I was very small in my secondary school.
You were very small.
Yes, and I
As
was
tall as you are, you were small. And were you in boarding?
no, it was a day
You
school.
were a day school.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So my secondary school was basically noise making and trying to read. So when I got into university, my first year, 100 level, so I came in as a very naive young boy. I think I was 15 by that time.
Oh,
I was
wow.
15. So
You went to university at 15.
yes, I did.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
So I go into the university and then I met these guys in the
Hmm.
hostel. I lived in the hostel, it's a school hostel. So I met these guys.
And that would be your first time living in the hostel.
That would be my first time living in the hostel. And that would be my first time hearing about sex and in the wrongest ways possible.
Wow.
So I got here as someone that was naive, and then they were having a conversation one day, and they were saying something about sex, talking about girls and this thing. And I was like, what is going on here? Me too, I want to hear. Oh, let me know what's up. So when they started telling me things, they tell me, you don't know anything, you don't sabi anything. Or I said, you just smile. And then I wanted to know more. I wanted to learn. I wanted to see what's this one that they are saying I don't know. And I was a clean slate at that time, and I wanted knowledge. I wanted to be full. So they even set me up with people, taught me how to go about it, what to do
As in with girls?
with girls,
Wow.
what to do, how to from the beginning, how to talk to them, and how to get them to into the other room or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So these things were taught to me, and they were taught to me in the wrongest way possible. I was not given, I was not equipped, I was not told what is wrong, what is right, and I made silly mistakes while
Hmm.
trying to achieve or get to be in their level. And these were big people, people in their finals, 400 level, 500 level, and then I
Hmm.
was just 100 level. They were way older than I am. So, but they felt that this is someone, they were carrying me as their younger brother. And they were now still teaching me things that maybe I didn't know before, that they wanted me to know, to be among, to feel among. So they told me about sex. They told me that it's very good, it's very nice. That I should,
It's very nice for me.
that is something that I should try. I should try. And then coming from a background where I didn't know what this was, I called my elder brother and I told him, this is what is going on. Alpha, why you not tell me this kind of thing they happen, something like this, they happen like this. And then he tried to talk to me, but I was not hearing it. I was not, and I didn't call my parents. This was not something I could call my parents and tell them about.
Hmm.
So he tried to talk about, but the people around me at that time were
We're
greater
louder.
influence. Yes, they were greater influence. And
Truly.
then they told me, and then I tried to actually do something that will not be saying down the life, but
We'll be skipping that part and then we'll be going on. Please go on.
okay, so I actually then learned the wrong way. So I would sex came to me or it was mentioned to me wrongly. I learned it actually in not the way that we are supposed to learn, the way you are supposed to learn in the sex educate your child like a pro course. So if my parents had taken this course, they have known what to do, they have known the right way to go about things. They should have taught me. I should have been better equipped right from when I was younger. That when entering into university, it wouldn't have been new. Anything they were saying, I would have understood and know what to do, how to attend to it, how to navigate it. And this is my story basically.
I think that a lot of parents actually think that the more naive a child is, the better it is. So imagine how you were swept off literally by a larger influence. So it was literally about who has a bigger voice. Since nobody has ever spoken, the person who speaks first becomes. I'm sure they were the people you go back to say this is right, this is wrong, and then you take the lesson from them. And because your elder brother didn't also was not in the first mention radar, even when he was trying to speak, you were not hearing because he was not part of the main course, right? So he's coming later to now come and tell you, this is what you should have done. And I'm sure in your head you're wondering, so where were you since that you did not tell me that this thing had been happening and all of that? But so you're saying that you didn't have an inkling of what it was before those guys told you what was happening.
Okay, I didn't know that things like this actually, I know it happened, I know it happens, but I've never thought towards that place, towards it happening to me, or me
Mm,
actually engaging in something like that, or
mm,
so that,
Oh, interesting. So, did you ever think of saying, "Let me ask my dad"?
no, I did not.
Did he ever cross your mind? Your
it,
mom?
it did cross my mind to talk to my mom about it. But and I asked them, the people around me, is this something I did not know about this before? They say, they're not supposed to teach you now. That's something they didn't know. So I felt okay. So why go to ask my parents when
Because
it's
already
actually
you
you
shouldn't
guys
know.
to teach me? Yeah.
That's actually very, very interesting. So, we've had different conversations on this platform, with different people sharing their, different ideas of what happened to them and how they heard about it. I remember Chidera sharing that her first time of seeing a condom was in her uncle's room, and then she took it. Let me even ask, was that condom used? She, I just thought of it now. Like, really? And I'm sure you didn't know whether it was used or not. Oh, Lord. No, no way. Anyways, that was Chidera's story. Chidera said she had seen this condom in her uncle's room, and then she picks it and says, balloon. I'm sure she blew it. Poor girl. She didn't know that since I've entered inside, probably the thing has dried up, and then she saw it. Oh, Lord God. And then she took it, and then she told to herself, I have won a lottery. That means nobody has ever come to tell me that there is a special kind of balloon. So when I get to school, I become, how secondary school can be now. you have the bragging rights of, you're the first person that have seen it. All right. I remember those days when we were in secondary school, when you travel, the few people who could travel abroad would come back and show us even sweets that you can get inside Oshodi. They would say, oh, they brought it and all of that. So I'm sure she was feeling that way. And then she took it. And then from her story, that story was really, really sad. Chidera said, my innocence became a scandal. And from that story, she was scandalized in school. People saw the condom in her bag and said, hey, she's bad. They even wanted to expel her. It was just a mess. Meanwhile, the girl is looking at the condom and wondering, what is this? She actually didn't know what a condom was. So she just saw it and at the same time put herself in trouble. So now, would you have preferred? Now, Arinze is also telling his story of how he didn't really understand sex in the way that it was told to him going to school. So he had gone to school at he had gone to school at 15, which is early. Don't try that at home, by the way. He has gone to school at 15 and meeting this, you can imagine meeting people in their 20s, telling you, this kind, you're not a correct man, no, and all of that. I listened to a man and he said that there's a culture that builds men to say that if you've not had sex, you're not a man. So it just builds that sense of follow. And then there is a culture. In fact, he said that the first time, he's a preacher in the US. He said that the first time, it's not a global thing. He said that the first time that he ever started, talking about it, he'd say he was 9. And then his cousin was like, you don't know anything about it and all of that. And then laughed at him. He went back to tell his mom and say, look at what this person said. The mom laughed at him too. So he was wondering, what's wrong with these people? So imagine, so they are sexualized, socialized to be sexualized. So of course, meeting those group of young men, that will be what it is that they also know. They know that sexuality is a power thing, right? And that there is a socialization that actually gives men the sense that, oh, if you are a philandra, if you sleep with people, you are among them, right? And from what Arinze was sharing, of course, these people told him this is way to go, and then he followed that way. Do you think that if your parents had said this is what sex is about, this is what it is, it's better for purity, and all of that, do you think you would have taken their own route?
Yes, I would have.
Okay.
Because at that time, I trusted my parents and I listened to their advice going into school.
Mm.
So, morally and then character-wise, I was doing very okay. But sexual talks, we never had it.
So there was no sexual intelligence.
Yeah.
So of course, by the time they told you, whatever they told you worked. Law of first mention. And that's what Arinze is sharing today. The law of first mention. Whoever mentions sex to you first or to your child first is the person that will have authority over the child when it comes to conversations like that. I'm actually very surprised that in secondary school there were no talks, like that, and trying and all of that. You must have gone to a school where all of you were all secluded or something.
Actually, my school was all in the book aspect. We didn't even have socials.
Mm.
Do and debate or all that. It was all teaching, come to class and then teach, go back home. So we didn't even have the time for all that.
Interesting. So of course, by the time there was any route for you to just get into anything, you just found yourself in that space. Alrighty. So we have Arinze. Arinze Okonkwo this morning has come to share with us what happened, how first mention actually put him in a feast, right? He was now in that space where he needed to now practice whatever it is that he was told. And I'm sure it didn't go well. It always doesn't go well. All right. So yes, this is where we're going to let Arinze go, and then I will share subsequently what it is about this conversation and how it affects your relationship with your child. Thank you so much, Arinze, for coming. All righty. So, all right. So thank you so much for listening. You have just listened to Arinze. Arinze Okonkwo shared with us what it is to actually begin to understand the law of first mention. The law of first mention is about what it is, who is speaking to you. So this young man has gone to the university and didn't know a lot about sex. Yes, he has heard of it. You know, there have been a lot of conversations around it, but unfortunately for him, right, this young man couldn't get a lot of answers from his friends. So, of course, by the time he got to school, he had to rely on the big boys who were in his room. They told him to do things which he did, which now backfired. All right, even though that part of the story is not for public consumption. Okay, but the point is, if you have a child and you are not the one speaking, someone is going to speak to them and they will speak the wrong things to them. That's what this is about. So, you know, in my book, in the very first Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro that we did, I talked about the laws of having sex conversations. And I'm going to also reinforce that today with you. And if you've not registered for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, this is your cue. You need to actually ensure that you have registered. All right. So I'm going to be sharing with you the laws. What are the laws that you must pay attention to when it comes to sex conversations? What are the laws that you must pay attention to? The law of different kind of, this conversation. There's also something that we call the 10 self models of sex conversation, all right, that we also have apart from the laws. Okay, so apart from the laws, we have the models, but today I'm going to be sharing with you the laws. The laws. All right, if you can still hear me, you can see me. Let me see your comment in the comment section. And if you enjoyed Arinze's story, let me see you say I, all right, in the comment section, and how it is that you were able to. Did you learn anything from it? Did you do, was there anything that actually changed for you? This is very, very important. One of the first things that you want to understand is that sex conversation starts with you. Sex conversation starts with you. Every time that you hear about sex conversation, put yourself in the line. That's the first thing that you want to do. Okay? So that is the first thing. There are a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of things that you do. And people have asked me, how do I start the sex conversation with my children? What do I do? I can see a lot of highs, and hi to you too. What do I do about sex conversations? What are the laws that I need to pay attention to, right? And that's one of the things that you must, pick out. So you are the first environment of your child. You are the first environment of your child. We say that environmental factor is one of the biggest things when it comes to sex conversations. And as a parent, you are that first, you are a determining factor for you to becoming a pro parent in sex educating your child. All right? This is very, very important. How do you now begin to look at the different aspects of you? All right? Your value system is number one. Your value system is number one. Somebody said, I learned a lot from his story. Thank you so much. Your value system is number one. What is your value system? What is your value system? Many times I've said to parents, you are the one that will determine what to share. And that's why sex conversation is not about the school. In the school of sex conversation, the faculty is you. Help me put that in the comment section. In the school of sex conversation, the faculty is you. The faculty is you. And if you are putting all of that at the back of your mind, you must understand that you are the one that will need to begin to review how you see the conversation on sex. All right? How you see the conversation on sex, and which is very, very important. Which is very, very important. So you need to begin to ask yourself, what are the things that I must do? What are the things that how do I start? The first place to start is your value system. The number one thing you need to understand, let me talk about a bit about age when we talk about the laws of sex conversation. All right. Sure, it should be in that place. Thank you. All right. So start talking to your children today. Don't wait until they are older. Thank you. Don't wait until they are older. Okay. So from 0 to 5, conversation should be brief, should be honest, and should maintain a focus, all right, of body boundaries and safety. From 5 to 10, you can get a storybook that speaks to this conversation. From age 10, you can get them to read something. You can start with the story. You can start with your own vulnerable story. Don't just open up and say, oh, sex is. That's not how to start this conversation. I've seen a lot of the times that parents miss it because they do not even know what it is that they need to do per time for this conversation. All right. So, like Arinze's parents, I am sure that they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to do it. So, of course, it overwhelmed them. So, of course, they felt that, you know what, since we're religious people, we'd rather be quiet. Let's not say a word. The more we are quiet, the more that we are not going to, have anything, come in this place. Now, I have talked about the 7 laws of sex conversation created by yours truly. The 7 laws of sex conversation. I wrote about it in Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro Volume 2. We are running the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro course 5.0 you want to be in. The first law is the law of first mention. This law states that the person who mentions sex to your child first will have more influence over your child more than any other person. So put in the comment section the law of first mention. The law of first mention, which is what Arinze shared today with us. The law of who is mentioning sex first with your child. Have you shared this link with your family and friends? Just click the share button, share it on your timeline so that someone else would also benefit. Share to your group, share to wherever it is that you can share so that other people would also benefit it. The law of first mention, please put it, write it. The law of first mention, that's the first law. That's the first law, all right? And at the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro 5.0, I have created what I call the sex conversation framework. I called it the early sex conversation framework. Now, what that framework is going to do for you, that I'm going to teach in that class, is that even if your child is just born today, you have a framework to walk, through the process. See, the only tool you need to get sex conversation right is not lecture. Guess what it is? A conversation map. Write it in the comment section. A conversation map. If you don't have a conversation map, you cannot route through this conversation. So at Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, I'm going to be giving that conversation map. So you have a map. You have where you're going. You have what it is that you want to see. That's what this map is going to do for you. That's what this map is going to do for you. So I'll be sharing that map so that you even know how. So we're saying the law of first mention. How do I mention it? A lot of parents don't know how to mention it. They don't know what to say when they are mentioning it. So that's the number one thing that you need. And I'm going to be giving it to you, right? So that's one tool that makes sex conversation easier at any age. Conversation map is a tool that guides you through what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and at what age. It's not everything you can say at every age, actually. All right? How do I mention it? That's what the conversation map will do for you. So join the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. One of the reasons we created the conversation map is for parents who have never had this conversation in their life before. So we created that part for you so that you will be able to actually have this conversation, even if you've never mentioned it before. So if you are the place where Even if somebody else have mentioned it, it's not you. The conversation map will also help you walk through you regaining the power of first mention. When first mention is lost, the only way to regain that power is using a conversation map. That map will actually remove the fear of messing it up. It will give age-appropriate words and examples. It will build a judgment-free zone. It will keep the door open for future talks. And then it will also evolve around your child's growth. So that's one of the things that the map does. So if you've not registered for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, I hear that in few hours, this price changes. It's changing today, actually, in few hours, not tomorrow. So you have the next 2 hours to grab this offer for $6,999 instead of $15,999 naira, right? Let me speak in naira, or $5. Okay. So if you grab this offer now, you will also be able to get the 3 free books that we are offering. These 3 books will give you access to everything that you need when it comes to some of these conversations that we are talking about. All right. So that's the first thing. So if you missed starting early, the conversation map will give you access to be able to regain your power. Remember, the ones that the conversation, you take away the conversation from your child, that whole thing actually would get, and you'll be confused. So you must understand that this particular conversational map will give you strength to regain all of that access. So if you're looking for a place where you know that your child is already 10, 6, even if your child is 6, you'll be shocked that you are not in the law of first mention. That's the truth. You are not in the law of first mention. So that's something that you would need to actually pay attention to and ask yourself, am I really mentioning first? Okay, that's number one. And then the conversational map will also help you not to panic when you hear questions. That's also what helps you to be ready. So the conversational map will help you to be ready. So even if you've not started having this conversation, we will help you start it. All right. So if you've not registered for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, all you need to do is to put a yes in the comment section. We'll give you details on how to pay $6,999 instead of paying $15,999 in 2 hours. This offer is over. We put this offer out, and then of course this offer goes back to what it is. Number 2 law is the law of the mind. Somebody help me put that in the comment section. The law of the mind. All right. Just put yes in the comment section if you've not registered for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. You need it. It's something you need. It's not something you want. It's a need. It's a need. All right. So just put yes. A team member reaches out to you and you have all the details, wherever platform that you're watching me from. Number 2 is the law of the mind. The law of the mind. Now, the law of the mind states that in sex conversation, the mind is the biggest sex organ. The mind is the biggest sex. This is why when you don't just teach, you're teaching about sex conversation, you are not just teaching about private part and public part. Yeah. The mind is also a sex organ. If you can control the mind, then you have control over your sexual desires. How are you getting to the mind of your child? Part of what we have done with our curriculum is to create a system that will get to the mind of the child. All right? That will get to the mind of the child, which is very, very important. Sorry about that. All right? So how are you getting to the mind of your child? How are you looking at the mind to renew it? To put the mind in such a place where the mind can think positively. Sex comes from the mind first. First comes from the mind first. Put it in the comment section. Sex comes from the mind first. But anyway, I'm actually sharing with you from this book, Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro book, volume 2. We have the different volumes. Number 3 is the law of family values. The law of family values states that you are the most powerful influence in your child's life, even though it doesn't seem so. But you cannot do this by assumption, because in the school of sex conversation, the faculty is you. In the school of sex conversation, the faculty is you. So you need to actually
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
So sorry, that would be Siri.
It's all good.
So sorry about that. My personal video. To check it. That would be Siri, all right? But that's so sorry. Okay. So the law of the mind, the law of family values, the law of family values. All right. So sex conversation must be had honestly, knowledgeably, and structurally. Let me say that again. Sex conversation must be had honestly, knowledgeably, and structurally. Any part of your structure, all right, that is faulty will affect what you're saying. And family value is part of your structure, which is why when you get into the inner circle, the first thing you learn is how to create a family structure. Because that's the very first thing, that's the real issue. So we insist that you actually learn how to create your family structure and family value, and then you will put it in perspective and begin to work at it. So science conversation, somebody help me put that in the comment section, must be had honestly, knowledgeably, and structurally. So if you are not in sex educate your child like a pro, how will you get the knowledge? If you have not dealt with yourself, how will you be honest? If you are not inside the system, how will you get the structure? Most of us have the sex conversation just like that. You know the way our parents had sex conversation. Don't allow anybody to touch you. There's no structure. And most of the times, there's no knowledge. Have you seen it? All right? There's no knowledge. My personal timeline. There's no knowledge, which is actually the real issue. All right? So we must be able to actually put that in perspective. And if you have not joined the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, this is your time. This is your time. In 2 hours, this price changes from $699. You see the way we are shouting it. Because in 2 hours, it changes. You come back, you can have it. All right? Now, the third law, the fourth law, and this law, right, is our law. You won't find it on Google. You won't find it on ChatGPT. The fourth law is the law of caution. The law of caution. Instead of the fear-filled sex conversation, the law of caution is about caution-filled sex conversation, knowledge-filled sex conversation. It is built to empower, not to disempower. So when you use fear, you disempower, because nobody learns in the atmosphere of fear. And because the puberty brain is a trying brain, is a fear-triggering brain. The puberty brain it likes risk. In science, we say that it's a risk-taking brain. Risk-taking brain. If you're watching me on YouTube, the details on how you can register is on my screen, or you can use the details on our description. So the law of caution, right, which is very important. You want to understand this because this is not a conversation of fear. All this already touches you. You're going to get pregnant. It's fear. That's what you're peddling. You're peddling fear. So our parents had this conversation in fear. They didn't really have it to be able to actually share knowledge or even caution. They were too afraid to even learn. Number 5 is a law of knowledge. That's what I call it. The law of knowledge states that you can only give what you have. You cannot give what you don't have. What knowledge do you have about sex conversation? What will you say to your child? Many of us don't even understand what is happening in the world. What do you know? Now, part of the curriculum as Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro this year includes, what we call being able to actually look at the different, parts of the module, and then, different parts of sex, and then, really dig deep. It includes media influence on sexuality. It includes what we call technology-facilitated abuse. Because right now, there is now technology-facilitated abuse. It's no longer like, business as usual, where abuse was only by somebody who was physically there. We're now in an era where your children can be abused through tech. So you can tell me now that, oh, I lock my children in the room, my children don't have access to anybody and all of that. It was Topper who shared about the silent but learning child. And in his story, he shared how even though he was locked in, or he tried many things, and of course, got himself into watching porn through just being curious. So the law of knowledge is very important. Most of us don't know. At that event, that's why we also have the book, Digital Molestation. So in the digital molestation, 100 ways your child can be molested online and what you can do about it to prevent it. One of the things that we're able to do for that digital molestation guide is to give you insight, and I mean thorough insight of in-depth of what it is that can happen when it comes to digital molestation. It's quite interesting, all right, when the things that we actually were able to bring together. And we also have that sexual reputation, culture. See, one thing that I have learned about all of these is that you can't just know it all. Now, nobody warned us about stranger danger on the street. They told us, oh, don't talk to stranger. But predators are no longer strangers. They are not even strangers. They've never been strangers. Whoever taught that lesson got it wrong. They warned us. We grew up in a world where danger had a face. Our children are growing up in a world where danger hides behind emojis, trending sounds, game requests, follower count, disappearing messages, and all of that. And it makes it even more terrifying. So when I was writing the book, Digital Molestation Guide, all right, which, by the way, you get free the moment that you actually register for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. So the moment you register for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, you will get this book free. So we call it We at War. It's not the kind of war that we need guns and grenades, but a silent, sophisticated war that is waging against the pockets of our children. Is a war that we need to fight. But this war is being fought by algorithms. It's being powered by silence. Too many parents don't even know what is happening. It's so painful. It's so painful. There are a lot of things happening, and a lot of parents, we call them, most children call you BBT. You know what that means? Let me see if there's anybody who will get it. I'm sure that inner circle parents will get it. But go in the comment section, tell me what BBT means. All right? Right now, abuse is coming in text messages. It's coming in memes. It's coming in emojis. Good homes are not immune. It's not, it's not a broken home problem. It's not bad parenting issue, really. Some of the most shocking digital violations have happened in Christian homes, homeschooling homes, tech-savvy homes, therapy-informed homes, even homes like yours. Why? Because digital abuse is not just about the device. It's about digital literacy. And that's what we're pushing. Somebody said born before technology. Yes, that's what BBT means. I'm sure that the inner circle parents are here harassing us. All right? Born before technology. That's what your children call you. Born before technology. So you are born before technology. They're just looking at you. You don't even know what's happening. So they can hide under their keypad, and all sorts of things are happening. And in your mind, you're like, oh, my child is a very, tech. I don't know about you, but we grew up in a time where we read Mills and Boone. Mills and Boone were highly sexualized. Our parents didn't know. We read it. I read all the series, all. But our parents just thought that, this kind, my children are very, I was a bookworm, so of course, that was very easy. Wattpad, have you seen what happens? The kind of dark, erotic things that you see on that Wattpad. But a lot of our children are on Wattpad, reading stories that are dark, that are messing up their minds. But because you do not know, how will you be able to do it? So the law of knowledge. And the law of the knowledge is one of the reasons why we started Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. The law of knowledge. The law of James Hadley Chess. Thank you, Michael. I read James Hadley Chess. They were crime, but they were sexualized. Highly. And my father will buy everything James Hadley Chess. All right? And they will bring it home. Me and my brother we will cry. As in, we were doing novel exchange in my street. because we really do not know what it is that is going on. Hint magazine at the back was Ikebe Super. We read it with so much. There were a lot of magazines that were erotic. That was what was accessible to us at that time. And most of us explored all of that. Now, it is bigger than that. It's bigger than that. And that's why I wrote the digital molestation guide. If you have not gotten a copy, the reason is because it's free. Digital molestation guide, sexual reputation guide, helping your child navigate their first crush. 3 of those books are free, only for those who have registered for the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. You want to buy it, you can buy it. It's $10 on our Amazon page. It is 5,000 naira on our Stella page. So you can buy it. It's actually all there. But would you rather buy it for 5,000 naira, or would you rather pay 6,999 and get 3 of them free, which is 15,000? Well, like dashing you money, right? You know, last year, a parent said she saw Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, right? And she said she saw it. She was like, her child is just 1. I beg, all these things, they just want to just do this thing. What is it they're going to teach us? My child have not reached. She said, you know what? 6 months later, my child was molested. And if my child had learned what to say, she wouldn't have. She was molested by another child. She was molested by a 7-year-old. And she said, coach, now I'm now registering for this Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. My child is 2, but the deed is done. So whether your child is 1, your child is 2, your child is 0, I beg you, be at Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro challenge. Take advantage of this offer that ends in 2 hours. 6,999. In 2 hours, we take it out, and that's it. Just say yes in the comment section, and someone will reach out to you. Let's quickly finish. Number 6, the law of honesty and trust. This law states that honest and trust is the most valuable currency in sex conversation. You cannot have sex conversation if your child does not trust you. That's why when you come into the academy, the first thing you learn is actually how to build trust. Because if you start from the top, you want to teach your children about sex conversation, and then you start, from the under, believe you me, you won't be able to succeed. Because for you to actually succeed, you would need to really be able to get trusted. So if you're a parent, unfortunately, our parent was full of fools, a lot of screaming, a lot of shouting, a lot of beating. But the law of honesty and truth states that you need to create trust for you to be able to have sex conversation. So did you get that? The law of honesty and truth. Did somebody put that in the comment section? The law of honesty and truth. And then finally, did somebody write the law of honesty and truth? Okay, great. Finally, okay, if you said yes in the comment section, you're on whichever platform, please just look at the screen, right? If you're on YouTube, look at the screen and you see the details. Okay. Which volume are you reading from? I'm reading from volume 2. Educate Your Child Like a Pro, volume 2. All the volumes are different. All right, volume 2. So yes, if you have not registered for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, look at the pin post, or you can just say yes. The moment you say yes, the team will reach out to you and give you all the details you need. See, we have over 6,000 parents that have registered for this course. They can't be foolish now, and they cannot be mad. I'm sure that many of us are not mad. So just put yes in the comment section. So what I'm teaching you, so we've done Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro on 1, 2, 3, 4, and yet we've not gotten it all. This is volume 2. We've not gotten it all. You know why? Sex conversation is a very volatile conversation. It changes every day. Do you know that part of what we're teaching in this, apart from the digitally facilitated abuse, we are also going to be talking about IVF, surrogacy. You heard me right. Donation, and how we're going to be giving you guided parent and teen discussion tool. See, we're not just teaching. We hate to teach. We love to transform. That's what the Intentional Parent Academy is about. We hate to teach. We love to transform. We create movements. We don't create courses. We create transformation. We don't create courses. By the time you're done, you're not just coming to go and hear, hey, this is what it is that you're going to do. You're going to be going with tools. You're going to be going with scripts. We've scripted their exercises to do. We've scripted worksheets. Part of the worksheet we scripted was, the bioethics discussion sheet. IVF, surrogacy, donation, the guided discussion tool if you have teenagers. How you're going to actually be able to just, have these tools to discuss. See, it's not enough to know about it. Yesterday, I said that the knowledge of abuse does not exclude you from abuse. The fact that you know about abuse doesn't mean that you're not going to be abused. What helps you to get excluded from abuse is the skill you have built to actually be able to get excluded from abuse. So don't put want, just put yes. All right. I can see somebody that put want. Okay. Put a yes in the comment, and then you'll be answered. And then lastly, the law of culture. The law of culture. The law of culture states that all sex conversation carries the influence of culture in it. All sex conversation carries the influence of culture in it. That's a law of culture. What culture is around you? How are you infusing it in your conversation? There will be a lot of influence from the environment you're raising your child in, and you must put it into consideration when you're having this conversation. The content, the methodology to this conversation, where you live in Abuja might not be the same as where you live in the UK. Many of the times, we do not take into consideration the culture we are raising our children in, and that's a huge determining factor. The way you will teach LGBTQ, right? I have put the book, volume 1, in my Amazon basket. Awesome. The way you would teach, this volume 2, by the way, there's volume 1, there's volume 2. The way you would teach LGBTQ in an environment like this is not the way you would teach it. And these are part of the things that we teach. All these laws will influence the kind of conversation you are having today. These laws will be your anchor around this conversation. While we go through, the other part, you can create your own culture. Part of what we're going to be giving you, right, in that, Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro challenge, is to help you to create your own culture. Create your own culture. So it is you that will create the culture that will actually help you to now have this conversation. Because the age appropriateness is also according to culture. It's also according to location. The question I'm asking you today is, do you even know that culture affects what you say? This is where the conversational map comes in. Part of what we created, or we're creating for worksheet, is for you. We created the sexting nudes consent map. What to do if you are asked for a nude. Do you know that most of our children don't know what to do? We just assume that they know. No, they don't. A lot of us say to our children, yesterday I was teaching about saying no. Do you know that it is wrong to tell your children to say no? I'm sure that you're shocked. I shared about it on our YouTube channel. You want to go and watch it. No, it's not enough. You can tell your children to say no and put them in higher danger just because they heard that they needed to say no. So no, it's not about no. So there are bigger things. So I created that worksheet to be able to help parents to actually have this conversation. Digital red flag checklist. Is this abuse? Is this bullying? Is this stalking? The child will need to be taught. We also created the personal safety plan. What to do if I feel unsafe online. So it's not enough for you to just toss a phone around your child and hand them over one iPhone 15 Pro Max and just, tell yourself, well, my child just uses iPhone 15, iPhone 14. That's not the conversation. The conversation is that you might be setting your child up for death if you do not help them with digital red flag checklist, with personal safety plan, with sexting and nude content, a map. Self-worth. We have the self-worth and self-worth and sexual attention Venn diagram. We created it so that you'll be able to show your teens. We also have the confidence builder checklist. We also created the attention trigger tracker. Most of our girls don't know how to manage attention. That's one of the things that is putting them in trouble. All right. We also created the critical thinking filter. That's a checklist to evaluate content. What you're consuming, what is it for? The attention audit for boys. Where does your attention go daily? The influence audit. Or who are your real models and why? And then we also have the dressing and identity dialogue sheet. We've created all of these so that you will be able to have an intentional path to be able to actually put through this. This conversation is not enough for you to just come and have it and just open your mouth. Please don't do that. Mosomaka said, I'm a doctor. As a medical student, it took me time to know the area is the vulva, but my 6-year-old was taught this week about it in the UK and all the private part. Our generation is in trouble. That's the truth. There's so much. And awareness is important. All right? Awareness is important. Absolutely very important. These children are getting more curious. And they're going to ask the internet all the time. Please, get into Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. We did Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro 4.0, right? The things we shared in 4.0, believe you me, it's nothing, compared to what it is that is going to also come up. So every year, there are different conversations. So this year, we're taking on sexual reputation culture, digital molestation, media influence, technology-facilitated abuse, body image and self-worth, sexual decisions, addiction, recovery, and accountability. We created a substance talk framework. There has to be a framework. How do we talk about substance? We created the exposure response plan. When you are exposed, what will my child do when they're exposed? A lot of us don't know. A lot of our children are exposed to drug. You don't know. You tell them just walk away. Say no. It's not enough to teach your children to say no. You might put them in more trouble for saying no. Yes, you heard me right. Which is why we've created the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. You will get all of this. You get these 3 books free, and you get all of this, print out. And you will also get a 10-in-1 pack, right? You get offered. Okay? So you have printable tools, everything, the worksheet. So just say yes in the comment section so that you will get details on how you can pay $6,999. If you're watching me on YouTube, the details on my screen. Pick it, send a message to that number that is on my screen, make payment to that account, and send details to that number. Over 6,000 parents can be lying. They can be all mad. They can be all not knowing what they do. All right, we're currently over 6,000, almost 7,000. We're getting, very close. And the truth of the matter is there's so much to learn. So if you put a yes in the comment section, you can be reached out to. You can also as well just look at the details that is pinned on my system, and then you'll be able to make payment or send us a DM. Or you can look at the details in the description to be able to actually get there. So this is where we call it a day. It's been an amazing time sharing with you. All right. Remember that in 2 hours, the 6,999 goes off the radar and it will go to the next prize. Remember that this is a very key aspect of your journey as a parent. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. All right. You can still send us a DM if you have more questions for us. Have an amazing day, everybody, and see you again tomorrow, where we'll bring you another team member who will share about his or her story. Right? See you tomorrow.
There are many things I've told my son. How to ride a bicycle, how to respect elders, how to dream big. But you know what? I never taught him about sex education. I thought he'll figure it out like I did. Through trial and error. Through friends, through mistakes, through shame. But I realized my silence was not protection. It was permission. For confusion, for pressure, for secrets. So I made a choice to be the father who talks, who teaches, who equips his son with truth. This is why I registered for the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro Challenge 5.0. This is because I won't let the world do the job for me. Yes, I choose to be an intentional and involved father. Join me on this course.
that moment when your child comes from nowhere, oh, and come and ask you, Mommy, where do babies come from? My dear, my heart dropped. That's how I started looking up and down, trying to figure it out. Internet, books, I asked my neighbors. I was even asking questions up and down. My dear, where do I start from? This big question, how do I even answer it? Where? And just like magic, I came across Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, a platform that gave me everything I need. I was no longer scared of having that conversation. My dear, everything is going perfectly well now. You, Uncle, what are you waiting for? You better come and join over 6,000 already registered parents and register for the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro Challenge 5.0. See you in class, oh.